Everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I am here to show you a journal flip through of the first of my little herd of deer that I have created here. So there will be three deer fawn style journals in this style that I've made. All are different, so I'm doing a separate flip through for each one. This is the first one that I started. It's probably it's the largest of the three, and I'm calling this one the Woodland Deer Frolic. So this book is inside a cover that I made out of this really soft, beautiful fabric. It's just this brown fur. You'll see it's fur. It's not real fur, but it's a very soft faux fur fabric. And then I hand painted all these little deer spots, all these little fawn spotty bits on here. So I did a little research on what deer fawn spots should look like, and it's really interesting. So they're quite random all down the sides of the body, but along the spine, they kind of go in these smaller straight lines like this, and they kind of dot all the way down the two sides of the spine of the fawn. So it was really an interesting kind of little study in how, these little spots work. So I love how the covers turned out. On this one, you'll see there's a copper clip here with some hand-dyed lace, just a fun little kind of, sit upon on top of the journal. I've used some metal eyelets and the same hand-dyed closure as what I've used here with seam binding. Then on the spine, there are some visible stitched signatures. This is a 7 signature book, and this required much in the way of whittling wood. So these are collected and dried by me branches. I do a lot of art with branches, and so I essentially cut a larger branch in half to create a flat back and whittled the back of it to make it nice and smooth so that it would sit here. I made sure that I, sanded up any edges and all of that, and they are attached with metal brads, the holes that I drilled through this beautiful stick, and it just kind of gives a nice little feel. It's got a little knob here from where a branch was growing. It's got a little tiny knot in it right there too. I thought it was such an interesting, fun little stick. Then here on the top of the book spine, I've sewn on a couple of real antler buttons from deer antlers, and you can see like all of the little tiny, holes and things that are in the marrow of the deer antlers. So these were harvested from my friend's apple orchard, where deer love to frolic around in my hometown, and we picked them up usually in the fall and winter. We find them, and sometimes in the spring, and they're the fallen antlers from deer. So no harm was done to any deer in the making of these journals. So yeah. So this book, we'll just hop into it. It's a nice chunky book, and this one I have used Amity Bloom's kit called Deer Fawn in it, as well as lots of other things, but that is one kit that I've used in this book. So at the front, why is there a clip there? Well, it is holding on to this. So this I made into this laminated notebook sort of thing. So you open it up, and on the back there's beautiful trees and some really fun hand-dyed graph paper, all coffee dyed. So this is from a really, really old and was very super delicate little booklet of like different things like trees, mushrooms, flowers, moths. There was a page for each of these, and it was like a little North American kind of wildlife guide that I think was from like the 1940s. And so I really wanted to preserve this by laminating it, and I've bradded 2 brads through it so that you can even swap out the paper if you wanted to. So that's just a little treat in the beginning of the book. So I'll just plunk that back in here, put that back down. So just like a little notebook to get you started. And then here on the first page, you'll see a lot of these beautiful illustrations. I've used a lot of nice nature notebook type pages in these books. So this is a 3-week-old roe deer fawn, super cute. And then over here, this is a flip out, and it's the first of the deer fawn series that has a collection that has these lovely wallpaper backings and things, and it's just a really nice accent to the deer theme. So here we have some beautiful antlers and some nice handwriting and detail on the antlers. Coffee dyed graph paper. This is the longest lived deer. A red deer died at age 26 and a half years in the National Zoological Park of Washington, D.C. So this came out of a little old like animal fact book. And then this journal card. This is from an old seasons, like a book about like verses for the seasons. It is summer, how beautiful it look. There is sunshine on the old gray hills and sunshine on the brooks. A singing bird on every bough, soft perfumes on the air, a happy smile on each young lip and gladness everywhere. And that's M. Howitt, which I think is Mary Howitt. I recognize her poetry. For the white pages, I did some fun spraying with nice walnut stain ink. This is a laminated pocket, and this is from the Deer Fawn Amity Bloom series, and I've trapped and laminated inside of here some maple seeds and some other little stems and bits and bobs. It's on craft paper. And then this is a journal card. This was made from a children's book, and it's a really painterly pretty image. This is some of my carbonized plant watercolor paper. This is cabbage dyed paper, and this flips out into this really beautiful big spread. And this is actually from Ream Portfleet's gnome book. So see the little gnome there? The gnome is helping this fawn, this buck, escape getting all caught up in briars and things and raspberry bushes. And there's a little right up there about, you know, what goes on in the gnome's forest with the deer. The other side of that plant paper, this little deer here, it's like a little Polaroid. This is from Amity Bloom. And then one of my trapped kind of shaky cards with an oak leaf, a real oak leaf inside, and some little sparkles and things on some really old, lovely black work botanical paper. And then some plain writing pages. This is an Amity Bloom page. This is from my Journal Together kit, and it's been coffee stained to kind of give it some fun texture. And then you flip it open and you can write on this flip. And then inside we have a botanical pocket. And back here, this is from that same nature notebook, and while it's not deer, I just absolutely love all of the illustrations in this book, so I just left it there because it's so cute. And you know, all parts of nature come into the lives of deer, right? So then I have this chestnut botanical journal card. That's from a vintage book. And over here, wind-blown Caledonian Scots pine. More of my rusty eco printing plants. That's avocado dyed. Another laminated pocket here with more maple seeds and a deer, and that's from the Amity Bloom image. This tag is from my Journal Together kit of my Birch Girls, and that's on Patreon. And this is some brown paper, some fun spraying. This is another of those beautiful deer images from the Nature Journal, and this is a clustered pocket. And this is a Mary Oliver poem, also from my Journal Together kit from Patreon. In winter, all the singing is in the tops of the trees where the wind bird, with its white eyes, shoves and pushes among the branches. Like any of us, he wants to go to sleep, but he's restless. He has an idea, and slowly it unfolds from under his beating wings as long as he stays awake. But his big round music, after all, is just too breathy to last. So it's over. In the pine crown, he makes his nest. He's done all he can. I don't know the name of this bird. I only imagine his glittering beak tucked in a white wing, while the clouds, which he has summoned from the north, which he has taught to be mild and silent, thicken and begin to fall into the world below like stars or the feathers of some an imaginable bird that loves us, that is asleep now and silent, that has turned itself into snow. And then this sort of tips out so you don't lose that little bit there. And then over here we have another image of a deer and more spraying. This is some fun parchment with red lines. Some of my rusty carbonized leaf paper, and I had a 1950s Bambi book. I just had to put a little bit of it into these journals because it's just really, really beautiful. The paper itself was also really nice. And then this is a botanical plant journal card. Some spraying, just a plain center for writing. This is some Amity Bloom and more of my rusty paper. Over here, more of that red line parchment and just kind of a nature-y, like a meadow bank. And on this side, from the same book, this is a beautiful horse called Foley, and I wanted to leave it there because it's just really pretty, and it's another gorgeous like drawing I didn't want to cover. And then this is from my Journal Together kit, and I've weathered it, coffee stained it, and added some gold to it. And it's just this mystical, magical deer. Then we have some coffee dyed graph paper, some brown flyleaf paper, and an avocado and rusted plant paper pages. This is a little stitched up cluster pocket with a white-tailed deer. There we go. So then we have chestnuts here on this journal card, and it just pops in the pocket. Then over here, this is also from Amity Bloom's collection, and this flips up for some writing space, and we have another deer in this very mossy woodland type forest. And over here, just a really beautiful little snip out from another nature notebook and some avocado dyed paper. Another mossy forest deer there. Spraying and stitching. This is from Amity Bloom's collection, that little tuck spot. This little Lily of the Valley tag is from my Journal Together kit, and it's on this little half page of green scrapbook paper. And then over here, I've made this fun little clustery pocket with a field label there and a deer. And then this was from a notebook. It's just a nature notebook for like writing down and recording the kinds of life that you see when you're on a walk in April. More of the red line parchment. And then this is from an old book, and I added these maple seeds that I painted ages ago. And a little fun nature note card kind of thing that I cut from a book. Construction paper in the color of a deer fawn. And then over here we have another, this is a more snowy, mountainy kind of deer scene, and a little Bambi inside, a little Bambi journal card. Oh, and it actually is a fold out, sorry. Little, almost like a backwards greeting card. And more spraying on that parchment, a little butterfly tuck spot with a botanical tag. This cute little piece is from Amity Bloom, and so is the tag, except I added some old yellowed tape on here with this authentic image of a family feeding some deer. And more coffee dyeing and spraying. Another little mossy woodland fawn there with some book spine up here. And then this, on this page, I took this out of a nature notebook, and it's like baby snakes, little ribbon snake and a water snake, and one's going this way and the other's going that way, and I thought they were such cute illustrations. And some beautiful deer. I think this is Glenn Lotes' illustration. And this little bird tuck spot with some red deer, blackwork illustration. And here we have a stag, beautiful illustration. And it tips out with this. This is from Amity Bloom, all of this pocket and this little tab kind of paper. And then this is one of my images from my Journal Together kit that just pops on into this pocket. And there we go. And it flips open for some more collaging and writing space. And then we have some beautiful does there from that same book. avocado dyed paper, and this little fawn tuck spot, and the paper behind it is all Amity Bloom. And this is a laminated flat lay collage with some real eucalyptus leaves inside, and it's a journal card. More dyed papers. This is a belly band that's got some fun information about fawns, like, you know, little kind of info card, which is really sweet. And it's on some Franken paper that I made from scrapbook papers, and has this beautiful botanical journal card in here. Spring and construction paper, a little owl on this tuck pocket, Amity Bloom paper, and then I made this tall botanical tag to go in here. More spring, parchment, more Amity Bloom paper, and I collaged this botanical pocket here with roses. And then this is from a beautiful medieval botanical book, a nice journal card. More of that construction and Franken paper, a little collage pocket with this beautiful tag inside. More dyed paper, Amity Bloom wallpaper and avocado dyed paper. This sketchbook drawing of this beautiful bunny. And on this side, more of the little bunny and some fun lichen. And then this pocket has an acetate watercolor type palette on it. It's on Amity Bloom paper, and this is a tag from the Deer Fawn collection from Amity Bloom. Avocado dyed paper, a beautiful page of a mossy forest, hand dyed paper, another fun Amity Bloom pocket on my eco printed time cards, and this is a laminated flat lay journal card with a fawn in there and some real eucalyptus leaves, coffee stained on the back. That's the other side of that beautiful time card paper. Those are roses that made those marks. A little pitcher plant tuck spot on Amity Bloom paper with this beautiful flying squirrel and a little mole down there. Tuck spot about wild oats, and it's on Franken paper with this beautiful piece of Minte paper, just a little writing stationery. And then from Reen Portfleet's gnome book, we have this little gnome with his fawn friend. And on this side, I've done some collaging, and there's a moth that this gnome is watching. And then we have this tuck spot from a medieval botanical book, and a little journal card of someone doing some coffee-stained paper, kind of with botanicals, like they're doing a little bit of nature study. And the back has flowers on it. And this beautiful book page in the center with these flowers and bees or wasps. And then I've left one tuck spot in here empty, which I almost never do, but I was like going through the book and I thought, I'll leave one so that someone can just tuck something of their own in there. More collaging. And then this beautiful, beautiful stag. More Franken paper, and then paper clipped on the Franken paper. We have this large botanical journal card. More of that deer colored construction paper and spraying. More of the time cards. Mossy forest, avocado, and Amity Bloom papers. Another beautiful roebuck. And this is a juniper and blueberry shrubs. Avocado and botanically dyed time card. These pieces are both from Amity Bloom's Deer Fawn collection. So cute. More dyed paper. Another Amity Bloom pocket and paper with this informational fun deer journal card. Construction paper. This is a flat lay laminated pocket with some maple seeds on it, and it's on this paper from the gnome book. It's a deer and the gnome escaping a forest fire, and then we have this succulents journal card. spraying, and these kind of wintry birds, tuck spot pocket on Franken paper with a beautiful sketchbook botanical journal card. More spraying, a little botanical tuck spot with this beautiful journal card with some herbs and houseplants here, and a little deer painted in the background under a dogwood tree. This is more of the mossy forest with the deer in the shadows here. And construction paper, a little looks like a sycamore tree, and this beautiful bird, it's a hawk sitting up on top of this stump with some turkey tail mushrooms. More dyed coffee paper and eco-printed time cards with geranium leaves, avocado paper, and just a beautiful Caledonian pine. And over here we have a Scots pine and some of the bark with the lichen. A little tuck spot here. This is from my Journal Together kit. It's a coffee stained mystical deer, and more of Amity Bloom's paper. More printing, eco printing. Another little, sort of like 4 little fawns, and this is a tag. Both of these are from Amity Bloom, and it says, "To my dearest fawn, you will always have a safe place in my heart. You make the wildflowers sing melodies of peace." And another of the gnome book. He's untangling their little horns. Gnomes do so much good for our world, right? And another flat lay lamination tuck spot with this journal card, also from an Ideals book about the seasons. "Clear had the day been from the dawn, all checkered was the sky. Thin clouds like scarfs of cobweb lawn veiled heaven's most glorious eye. The wind had no more strength than this, that leisurely it blew, to make one leaf, the next to kiss, that closely by it grew." And that is M. Drayton. And then here we have this from my Journal Together kit of this beautiful white fawn in a snowy forest with a little bit of tape there. Craft paper. Another of the Reen Portfleet fawn and gnome. Some more brown paper, eco-printed fun paper. And then we end with this little bird's nest tuck spot and a flat lay cardinal with some real plants that are all laminated inside there. So that tucks in there, and then we end with my seal and a little ghost leaf and my signature there. So that is this is journal 1 of 3, our Woodland Deer Frolic. So I love this book so much, and if you're seeing this video, that means that I have posted this journal into my Etsy shop. So you can find the link below to my Etsy shop. If you're interested in this journal or the other journals, you'll look out for the other 2 videos for those flip throughs. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and who knows, maybe you will have a lovely little woodland encounter with a family of little fawns out in the snow. Sending those calm vibes your way, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.